Real intimacy isn't about control or games. It's about understanding what actually creates lasting attraction and deep connection between two people. Most relationship advice falls into two categories. Either it's manipulative tactics dressed up as psychology, or it's so sanitized that it ignores the reality of human desire altogether. The truth lives somewhere in between. What research actually shows: in 1957, psychologist Leon Festinger published groundbreaking research on cognitive dissonance, the gap between what we say and what we do. But here's what matters. This applies to everyone, regardless of gender. We all sometimes struggle to articulate what we truly want. Dr. John Gottman spent 4 decades studying what makes relationships succeed or fail. His research revealed something powerful. It's not the absence of conflict that predicts success, but how partners handle conflict together. The couples who thrive are those who maintain respect even during disagreement. Anthropologist Helen Fisher asks, brain imaging studies showed that romantic attraction activates regions associated with motivation and reward, same areas involved in goal-directed behavior. Attraction isn't random. It responds to specific qualities and behaviors. The foundation, self-awareness, and authenticity. Here's what actually matters in creating genuine attraction: being someone worth being attracted to. This starts with understanding yourself. What are your values? What are you building in your life? What makes you come alive? People are drawn to those who have a clear sense of purpose and direction, because it's a tactic, but because purposeful living is inherently attractive. Psychologist Esther Peril talks about the paradox of intimacy and desire. She notes that while closeness builds connection, desire requires some separateness. The healthiest couples maintain their individual identities while building something together. You need to be a whole person, not half of one waiting to be completed. This means having your own interests, friendships, and goals. Not to create artificial scarcity, but because a full life makes you more interesting, more engaged, and more present when you are together. Clear communication. The real foundation, the idea that partners shouldn't communicate directly about their needs, is fundamentally backwards. Research consistently shows that couples who communicate clearly and directly have higher satisfaction and longer-lasting relationships. Dr. Sue Johnson, developer of emotionally focused therapy, found that secure attachment built through responsive communication is the foundation of lasting passion. When partners feel safe expressing their needs, desires, and vulnerabilities, intimacy deepens. This doesn't mean every moment needs to be negotiated verbally. As relationships develop, partners naturally learn to read each other's nonverbal cues. But this happens through communication and time, not by assuming you know what someone wants without asking. The strongest relationships balance intuition with clear dialogue. Sometimes you'll sense what your partner needs, other times you'll ask. Both are signs of attunement, not weakness. There's a difference between healthy confidence and controlling behavior. Real confidence comes from knowing yourself, trusting your judgment, and being comfortable with uncertainty. Confident people can make decisions without being rigid. They can lead without dominating. They can be strong without diminishing others. This kind of grounded presence is attractive because it signals emotional maturity and security. Psychologist David Schnark talks about differentiation, the ability to maintain your sense of self while in close relationship with another. Highly differentiated people can hold on to themselves during conflict, can soothe their own anxiety, and don't need constant validation from their partner. This is very different from the pseudo-confidence that comes from trying to maintain control or create distance. Real confidence allows for vulnerability, admits mistakes, and values the other person's perspective. Healthy relationships involve both partners challenging each other to grow. When disagreements arise, there are opportunities to understand each other better, not battles to be won. When your partner challenges your perspective, it's a chance to examine your assumptions, not a threat to your authority. Research by Dr. Arthur Aaron showed that couples who engage in novel, challenging activities together report higher relationship satisfaction. Growth happens together through shared experiences that push both people outside their comfort zones. This mutual challenge creates the dynamic tension that keeps relationships vital. But it's collaborative tension, not adversarial. Your teammates navigating life together, not opponents in a power struggle. One of the most attractive qualities in any person is the capacity to be fully present. Not checking your phone during dinner. Not planning your next response while your partner is speaking. Actually listening. Actually being there. Dr. Dan Siegel's research on interpersonal neurobiology shows that feeling felt by another person truly seen and understood is one of the deepest human needs. When you offer this quality of presence, you create profound connection. Being willing to share what you're feeling, being curious about what your partner is experiencing. Not hiding behind mystery or aloofness, but showing up as your full, authentic self. Yes, maintain some privacy. Yes, have your own inner world, but not as a tactic to create desires, a natural expression of being a complex individual with your own rich inner life. The attraction thrives in relationships built on mutual respect and equality. Research by the Gottman Institute found that relationships characterized by respect, admiration, and friendship have the highest levels of both satisfaction and sexual desire. This means treating your partner as a full person with their own desires, goals, and autonomy. It means making decisions together about things that affect you both. It means valuing their perspective even when you disagree. The idea that one person should always lead while the other follows is outdated and unsupported by research. The healthiest couples share leadership depending on the situation, playing to each person's strengths and preferences. The role of uncertainty and novelty. There is truth to the idea that novelty and unpredictability can enhance attraction. Dr. Helen Fisher. Research shows that dopamine associated with pleasure and motivation is released in response to new experiences and uncertainty. But healthy unpredictability looks like spontaneous weekend trips, trying new activities together, or surprising your partner with thoughtful gestures. It doesn't look like emotional unavailability or strategic distance. The uncertainty that enhances desire is about the adventure you're sharing, not about whether your partner cares about you or is emotionally available. Security in the relationship creates the foundation that allows you to explore uncertainty together. There is wisdom in knowing when to engage and when to give space. Not as a power play, but as an expression of respect for both your own needs and your partner's. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is recognize when you or your partner needs alone time. Sometimes ending a date while things are good preserves the positive energy. Sometimes focusing on your work or other commitments is unneglected as maintaining the balance that keeps you healthy and interesting. But this works when it's genuine, when it comes from self-awareness rather than strategy. Your partner can tell the difference between authentic boundaries and manufactured scarcity. Here's what research and clinical experience consistently show people want in relationships. Someone who knows themselves and is working toward their own growth. Someone who can communicate clearly about needs and desires. Someone who is emotionally available and present. Someone who respects them as an equal partner. Someone who maintains their own identity and interests. someone who is confident without being controlling, someone who can navigate conflict with maturity, someone who brings novelty and adventure to the relationship. Notice these qualities apply regardless of gender. While individual preferences vary, the fundamentals of healthy attraction are remarkably consistent across demographics. The real work, not the work of managing impressions or executing tactics, but the work of becoming a more integrated, self-aware, emotionally mature person. This means examining your own patterns and wounds, understanding how your attachment style affects your relationships, learning to communicate clearly, developing emotional regulation skills. It means being willing to be vulnerable, to risk rejection, to show up authentically, even when it's uncomfortable. Because relationships built on games and manipulation may create short-term attraction, but they can't sustain genuine intimacy. You have a choice in how you approach relationships. You can view them as arenas for control and competition, or you can view them as opportunities for mutual growth, deep connection, and shared joy. The first path might create intensity, but it rarely creates lasting fulfillment. The second path requires more courage to be genuine, to be vulnerable, to treat your partner as a collaborator rather than a conquest. Real attraction isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about being someone worth being close to. It's about offering the kind of presence, respect, and genuine care that makes another person want to build a life with you. This isn't always easy. It requires self-reflection, emotional work, and ongoing growth. But it's the only path to relationships that are both passionate and sustainable, exciting and secure, deeply intimate and enduringly vital. The choice, as always, is yours.